begin. Hi guys, welcome back to another vlog. So today, this is my first time actually doing this. We're doing a Q&A / giveaway. These are the giveaways that I'm going to be giving out to you guys as a token of appreciation for just everything that you have done for the channel and done for me. The support that I've gotten throughout the years. I mean, my channel is almost 10 years old and I haven't even done this to kind of give back to the community. So here I am, I'm doing this, I'm a rookie at this, so for sure there's gonna be another giveaway video in the future. But for now, let's just begin with this 3 awesome Boeing merchandise here. By the way, this is not sponsored by any way by Boeing, and in fact, look, I'm actually wearing an Airbus lace lanyard, sorry. Alright, let's begin. Let's dive down into the Q&A. This is gonna be a 10 to 12 minute video. I don't plan on it being that long, so I know you guys have submitted a bunch of questions, more than I expected actually, through Instagram, through Facebook, and through my YouTube videos. So I'm just gonna handpick everything that I would like to answer, questions that actually make sense, because some of the questions are just, you know, I can't even answer, right? Yeah, so towards the end of the video, I'm gonna announce the winners. Stay tuned and let's dive down into it. Alright, the first question goes to... I mean, there are questions about the gliding distance of a 777. Like, how do I even know that? Okay, so the first question from Peter: how did you come up with the idea that you want to become a pilot, and who supported you? Basically, ever since I was a young boy, I think I was about 5 or 7 years old, my first ever commercial plane ride on a Cebu Pacific, actually one of the older Cebu Pacific aircraft. Flew from Manila to Cebu, and we experienced actually a very bad weather, to the point that my grandma and my mother was actually holding me. I could still vaguely picture that in my head. And so they held to my hands as if they were so afraid that I knew at that moment I wanted to become a pilot. And who supported me? Well, my parents, my family, everyone. Actually, my grandma supported me, my wife, my then girlfriend became fiance, and now my wife supported me throughout my training, and just overall my family. And a similar question to the first one: how did I manage to pay for my flying hours? Well, how did I manage to pay for my flight training? In total, it was my parents, and I saved up a few money. I was working part-time here and there here in Canada with a few companies in the airport. I saved up a few for my PPL, and then my family helped me out throughout my commercial and my multi and my instructor rating training. So, question from Joshua: what sacrifices did you have to make? Social life, drinking. Well, first off, I don't drink that much. I only drink occasionally, so that was not an issue for me. The only sacrifice that I had to make big time was actually just moving away from the Philippines, or just being away in general from my then again girlfriend, became fiance, and now my wife. It probably was the toughest part, just because doing flight training, you need that support from everyone. Like, it's not easy. People think that, oh yeah, I'm gonna go flight training, I'm just gonna fly a plane. No, there's so many things that goes behind the scene. Studying, constant practicing your stuff. So I wish I would have had my wife with me throughout those times. Where did you get the motivation to pursue your dream to become a pilot, and what are the difficulties you face through your journey? Again, similar question from the first one. I'm just gonna answer the second part here. Difficulties I faced was, first, the weather. Basically, the weather was my arch nemesis, because look at now, it's cloudy. Can't even fly on this day. I guess, yeah, that was the greatest difficulty, because I couldn't really get into a momentum of studying and training, and getting that flight hours done, and getting that flight test, that check ride done in an efficient way, because weather, you know, was bugging me. And do know, if you guys are ever going into flight training, that weather is going to be the biggest factor as well. Regardless where you are in the world, whether you're in the Philippines, in Canada, in the States, weather is going to be one of the biggest, if not the biggest issue, besides financially. What are the positive factors or perks? Question from Dwayne. Basically, a lot of you guys don't know that we actually moved here permanently as PR, as permanent residents. So I wasn't really one of those international students who came here, but a lot of my content on YouTube is that I post these videos you know, pertaining to international students because I want to help them out, right? So that's out of the way. I guess the positive factors is that, well, overall, I guess the quality of training here is superb. Not saying that the quality of training in the Philippines or elsewhere is not superior, but all I'm saying is that when you have the chance to go to Canada, obviously choose Canada or the States, or maybe a first world country for that regard, because you're getting a lot more in terms of safety, in terms of maintenance, in terms of, you know, the syllabus of the schools, in terms of following the standards in general. Obviously you get a lot better quality aircrafts as well to kind of use for your flight training. So hopefully I'm answering these questions really well. I'm not really good at this because, like I said, I haven't done this before. Scariest moment, flying experience that almost made you toot your pants. Couple of them actually. One of them just flying by myself along the Strait of Georgia, which is a body of water here. I was leaning the mixture of the aircraft, trying to save fuel, and then for all of a sudden I think the engine almost quit, and that almost gave me a heart attack because I'm at 5,500 feet or 6,500 feet over the water, and my engine almost quit, and I'm a single engine. So that was the first thing that came into my mind. Second thing was just flying with very bad weather with my instructor. We were practicing for my PPL check ride, and took off with really bad weather on the way to the practice area. We stopped halfway and then we had to go back because our heads were just bumping on the ceiling of the aircraft, and you know, the turbulence was just great that we had to cancel the flight and go back home. Question from my Uncle Henrik Go. What is your longest flight to date and how far was it? How long did it take? Probably when we flew, Naz and I flew to Oregon, almost close to the border of California. It was for our 300 nautical mile. I believe it was somewhere around 349 nautical miles one way from Vancouver to Cottage Grove. It took us about, I believe, 5 hours going one way and then another 5 hours going back, or 4 hours going back, something like that. And here we go. From K Shiro, I'm in, he said. K is one of my instructors here who has recently moved to the airlines, so he asked this. My answer to him is that, K, you're an airline pilot. You should know this by now. How would you assess your success in the industry? Well, because I'm a flight instructor, I'd like to teach students, and it's my passion to actually just teach and talk about aviation. So it starts now actually. When you're laying out foundation in your career, you must be responsible. You must, you know, have a good attitude towards everything. So if I'm laying a good foundation now, and I know in my heart and I believe that later towards my airline career, that I would have good returns, you know. So yeah, let's just see, you know, who knows what the future holds. How's your travel to Japan with your wife during the COVID-19 crisis? Thanks for asking, actually. It was great. The honeymoon was great. What is the easiest part of becoming a pilot? That's easy, actually. Just my answer is just having fun. Pilots tend to forget how fun flying can be, and that's probably the easiest part of flying. Okay, this is a really good question here. What is one thing you wish you knew when you first started off training? I wish I just knew how much work was involved, you know, so that I would have matured earlier. I would have foreseen problems, and I would have foreseen delays as well, because, you know, the culture here in Canada and North America is very different in Asia, and I've been an advocate of that you know, training here, people sometimes get culture shock because it's not really a school setup, unlike in the Philippines or in Indonesia or in India, right? Here in Canada, you are responsible for your own training, so your training won't progress if you don't put in work. And I wish I knew that coming in, that I would have prepared myself better mentally and physically as well, because just the flying part is so exhausting sometimes when you just fly for 2 hours and it's a hot day, summer day. you get so tired, but then you think that, oh, I still need to put some more work, I still need to build hours, I still need to work on that forced landing, I still need to work on that steep turn. So you have no choice, or you force yourself actually to go flying again, and the fatigue sometimes gets into you, and I wish I would have prepared myself better for that, in terms of just having that mindset to get into the physicality of it. Why flying? Well, like I said, aviation has been my passion ever since that first flight, commercial flight. Another good question here actually, how has being a pilot changed the way you think? Well, I like to think that I became responsible, I matured. Aviation and flight school actually helped me mature as a man, as a human being. You don't take things for granted anymore. What was your best memories during your student pilot days? Probably when, I'd say the cross countries easily, but then the most fun I've had was when I was doing my IFR training, my instrument rating training. It allowed me to fly into clouds, to see the world in a different perspective up there above the clouds. So probably that's the most memorable. A question about being good in math. And this is a really good question because I do get these questions a lot. People sometimes get scared of how much math involved there is in aviation. Actually, there's not much math, just basic algebra and just basic multiplication. Just study really well in high school and college, because that's all you need. Like, I'm not really a math wizard growing up. Actually, I hated math growing up, but you know, I've learned to embrace it when I finally started my flight school journey, my student pilot journey. So if I can do it, you can do it too. What is my favorite airplane? Well, right now, actually, not the 777 anymore, so that's breaking news. I like the 787 or the A350. I know I've said it a few times in my videos before that I don't like the A350, but now it has grown on me. And look, I'm even wearing a lanyard of an Airbus, so it's coming along, A350 and 787. Ricardo Luis asked me this question: why does VA increase when the weight of the aircraft increases? Well, has something to do with your stalling speed. So that is my homework for you. I want you to actually do a research of your own if you don't know that answer, because if you don't know that answer, then I would ask the government to revoke your license, because you should have known that by now. Obviously, I'm kidding. I'm not gonna report anybody to the government, to the police or something. And I apologize, guys, if I can't really answer all of the questions here. There's just too much. I wasn't really expecting to get this amount of feedback, but I really appreciate it. You guys, took the time to actually write down questions. I'm just gonna try to answer them single-handedly on the posts. Yeah, thank you guys for tuning in, and the winners for this video are these guys here. Alright, so I'm gonna try to get in contact with them. If I don't hear from them, then I'm gonna choose a new winner. So these are the prizes that I have, which I got from Boeing store, a while back at the actual Boeing store. So a pin, keychain, and a seatbelt keychain. Alright, thank you guys for always tuning in, and I'll catch you guys on the next one. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share. Alright.